Okay. Welcome. I am the Anger Whisperer, Shawnnyce Nutt. For those of you who don't know me, welcome to the show. For those of you who do, welcome back. All right. We are going to be doing reading today. So every other week, we're doing reading live. And that's what we're doing today for What Cheese. We're also going to be working through the What Cheese character guided workbook. So for those of you who have your books, grab them. For those of you who don't, get one. All right. They're available on Amazon, also available on Lulu, and we have a store through Shopify. I don't know how to find it, but look at the Anger Whisperer Shopify. You should be able to find it, and you can purchase your books through there. Also, on TikTok, we now have officially opened a TikTok shop where you can purchase, again, What Cheese and the Work Cheese character guided workbook. So last week, please forgive us for our live errors that we had this last Saturday before last when we were reading this. But we read chapter 1, and we're going to go back through some of that, talking about Insecure and Aware. And then we're going to also read about Gotcha and the Saboteur. All right. So, and welcome, Ashley. I think I saw you on there. Allison should be coming in shortly. Let me see. Hold on. All right. So I'm trying to say hello and see the things that are happening. But again, if I miss anybody, it's not because I was trying to. All right. So what I'm going to do first, because we do have a couple people on there. Is Allison on there yet? The girls? Okay. Well, now we're echoing. All right. So I'm going to read the dedication that I wrote for my tribe. And this is for everybody who knows me. My tribe started a long time ago. We were a tribe of all females, and that could be why the book is female. I never even put those two together. All right, so here we go. The dedication is for my tribe and the best they have inspired. A tribe isn't just blood, it's breath. It's the people who see you clearly, even when you're clouded, who hold your truth gently, challenge your shadows fiercely, and stay rooted beside you when the winds of change try to carry you away. A tribe is a circle that catches you when you fall and then dares you to fly. This is for mine, for the ones I was born to, for the ones born through me, and for the wild, wonderful souls I picked up along the way, mid-maze, mid-meltdown, mid-miracle. You made me better just by being yourselves. You reminded me that wholeness isn't found in perfection, it's found in presence. Because of you, I kept going, I kept writing, I kept healing. You are my teachers, my mirrors, my safe place. You are the reason I believe in chosen family and sacred chaos. This book, this journey is stitched with your laughter, your patience, your faith in me when I had none. You didn't just inspire the best of me, you insisted on her. So I offer this truth with full heart and steady hands, a declaration of the tribe that made me, saved me, and called me home. May we always be a village. May we always speak the same soul language. And may we never forget we were born into peace. All right. So that's for all my tribal members, all of you that we've picked up on the way, all the new ones that I don't even know yet. Welcome, welcome. All right. So again, the first chapter was about the house that Doubt built and how Insecure was going about her daily repetition. If you missed it, it's the first chapter. It has some very important parts. In fact, maybe I'll read one of those parts and then we'll pick up with Aware. So the characters in this book, the first ones that we've met, Insecure and Aware. All right, let me see what I want to do first. We'll read their meeting again. So they actually met at a buzz bumbler. They met on the phone. She was the 100th call that Insecure took that day. And she asked her a question about how it felt to work for lackluster performance liability company who really didn't care about the people who worked there or about the products that they sent out. And so she was so Insecure was so taken aback by the question that her and Aware ended up talking, becoming friends, and then they're meeting at the buzz bumbler. So we'll pick that up. They were scheduled to meet for a walk a few days later and met at the Buzz Bumbler Cafe. The cafe was a small haven, not heaven. The smell of freshly brewing beans and delicacies filled the air, mixing with the soft hum of quiet conversations. It was a place where neighbors came to sit, reflect, and escape, perfect for a first meeting between two girls on the edge of something important. Aware was the first to enter. She stepped in with a calm presence, her movements deliberate and fluid, as though she were in no rush to be anywhere but here. As she made her way toward a table by the window, her hand slipped into her pocket, pulling out a simple chain. She rolled it between her fingers, a quiet smile tugging at her lips as if some internal puzzle had just clicked into place. It was a small gesture, but one that signified her comfort in her own skin, something not easily seen by the outside world. She found a seat, placing the chain on the table in front of her, the cool metal glinting in the soft cafe light. Her eyes scanned the room, hopefully for the new friend she was meeting today. Insecure entered shortly after, hesitating at the door. She stood there for a moment, unsure of whether she belonged in this space. Her eyes darted around the cafe, avoiding anyone's gaze, feeling the weight of each of their stares as if they were silently measuring her. There was something almost perfect about her appearance. Her clothes were flawless, her hair neatly in place, but there was an underlying unease in the way she carried herself. Unease that came from looking in the mirror and wondering if you were enough. She spotted Aware across the room and slowly made her way to the table. As she approached, her eyes lingered on the floor, her steps uncertain. She sat down across from Aware, her hands instinctively adjusting her clothes, smoothing out invisible wrinkles. Aware took a moment to study her, her fingers rolling the chain. She leaned forward slightly, her expression one of quiet understanding. She smiled, her voice soft but steady. "You look like someone who wants to know the importance of taking that first step," Aware said, her eyes bright with a mix of curiosity and encouragement. Insecure glanced up at her, startled by the observation. She felt her cheeks flush, as if Aware had somehow seen right through her carefully constructed masquerade. For a moment, Insecure couldn't find the words. She opened her mouth, then closed it again, unsure of what to say. "I'm not sure I know what that means," Insecure replied quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. Oware's smile widened and she gently placed the chain back into her pocket. "It means that even when we're scared, especially when you're scared, taking that first step is what makes the difference. You don't have to know everything. You just need to move forward." There was a moment of silence between them, and Insecure's hands fidgeted with the edges of her sleeve. She wasn't used to people speaking so directly to her, but there was something calming about Arare's presence. It made her feel seen, even in the chaos of her own thoughts. "I've been stuck for so long," Insecure admitted, her voice shaking just a little. I don't know where to start." Arare nodded, her expression never changed. "Start with one small step. It doesn't matter how big the change is, just take it. And the next, and the next." Insecure looked down at her hands, feeling a strange sense of relief washing over her. For the first time in a long while, the idea of taking a step forward didn't seem so impossible. "I guess I can try," Insecure said, her voice firmer this time. "Good," Aware said with a nod. "That's all any of us can do." Aware. Aware's presence rate Aware's parents raised her to know that there was better out there, and she could reach it if that level of difficulty was what she wanted out of life. It would be simple if she settled for whatever life gave her and understood that better was for others, those that were, of course, better than her. Those others were born with opportunities and talents that she herself did not possess. The chosen started with established parents who had cheese raining down on them from the sky. For those individuals, not having enough was never a problem, which gave them the ability to do anything their hearts desired and see things through regardless of whether they worked out or not. Aware, unfortunately, was not one of those individuals. Life for Aware had started in a community on the hill above the valley that contained the house the Doubt built. She could see the horizon on the other side of town. She had been told by her parents that if she had kept her head down and worked hard each day, she could potentially not end up in the neighborhood below. That she could at least, with the help of a partner, make it to the edge of better. Somewhere near the outskirts of the Is It Worth It hillsides, but beneath the delusional towers. They did not want her to focus on those ideas unless she was willing to put in the work, which included making herself a suitable mate. Aware now spent her downtime explaining to Insecure that there was indeed better out there, that they together could do more than either of them alone. She explained that despite settling for less and not seeking more, Aware was in a unique position to help Insecure realize that there was more out there than she knew, to help her get to the level of mediocrity she herself had attained. Insecure watched as Aware demonstrated the way forward. It became clear to her that Akadu Batir wasn't meant for her, and with that realization, she was finally able to leave the house that doubt built behind. While coming to these conclusions, Insecure often asked herself what made her think she could do anything other than what she did each day. Oare seemed to believe in her more than she had ever believed in herself. Her unwavering confidence in the better that she spoke of moved Insecure to action. Well, to thoughts of it anyway. Gotcha and the Saboteur. Go ahead. Oh, Doc Richards. Hey, okay. Hey, family. Yay, yay. Everybody who's here and all the people I don't know, welcome, welcome. Hope you guys are enjoying the story. So we're going to move on to Gotcha and the Saboteur. One evening, the friends discovered the Saboteur Saloon. After their brief meeting at Buzz Bumblers, Insecure and Aware were quickly becoming inseparable. On this day, they made their way down the street, their conversation lingering in the air. As they reached the Saboteur, the atmosphere shifted again, this time heavy with the weight of uncertainty and doubt. The Saboteur wasn't just a bar, it was a place where dreams went to die. It existed slowly to drown any bothersome thoughts or ambitions with a gulp of whatever concoction was served that night. The air inside was thick with the scent of misplaced intentions and the weight of silent regret. The menu, scrawled hastily on the wall, listed drinks like Despair Daisy Dews, Tormentor Tulip Elixirs, and Washed Out Watermelon Rinsons, each designed to numb the mind and quiet the soul. The drinks weren't just libations, they were weapons designed to keep patrons in a quiet state of despair, suppressing any hope or ambition that might slip past the bar's thick atmosphere of gloom. The true purpose of the bar wasn't simply to serve drinks, but to suppress any ideas of betterment, progress, or change. That was Gotchu's role. She was a plant, placed there to ensure that no ideas or dreams of improvement would ever get the chance to grow. Gotcha was the expert at stopping ideas dead in their tracks. Any plan, any glimmer of hope, any spark of self-improvement that made it through the door was swiftly extinguished by Gotcha's presence. She was there to sabotage, to ensure that no one left with the thought that they could be better, that they could escape the maze they were trapped in. With a measured presence, she watched the room, her ears scanning for the vulnerable, the hopeful, the restless. Those are the ones she sought out. Drinks served in sugar-rimmed glasses replaced excitement with fear, companionship with loneliness, and any sense of hope with a creeping, suffocating desperation. Gotcha was more than a bartender. She was the keeper of the Saboteur's purpose, to make sure that any plans for change, no matter how small, were undermined before they could take root. Every word, every whispered plan, every dream shared at the bar was carefully cataloged, and if it wasn't the right kind of dream, Gotcha would quietly cut it off, guiding the conversation into more familiar, more comfortable territory, where hope couldn't grow, where dreams were strangled and crushed before they could ever see the light. She had very large ears. Their size and shape allowed her to pick up on things others simply didn't hear. She could hear a pin drop from across the bar with the conversational volume turned up and the music on. Patrons had noticed that they often moved independently from the rest of her. Despite the grim atmosphere, the Saboteur held an undeniable charm, a strange pull that brought patrons in, those who were looking to forget, whose ideas had already been crushed. Gotchu was the bar's gatekeeper, ensuring the status quo remained untouched. Okay, we're going to stop it there for today in the middle of Gotcha and the Saboteur. So I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. And then this is our What Cheese character guided workbook. So we are going to look at some of this, and I want to make sure you guys understand this is a companion book for What Cheese. So while you're reading it, or when you get done reading it, you can kind of go through and see what exactly is in Oh, they want me to keep going. Okay, hold on. I didn't know. I thought it was getting close, and so I was gonna stop. Okay, hold on. So we'll get to the end of the second chapter then, and then I'll go into the other book. All right. So we'll go back. All right. So the drinks were poured long and constant to keep the conversations down to a dull murmur except with Aware and Insecure. There was something about them that had their server curious about how they met in the first place. She thought just maybe this could get interesting. Finally. So she listened and waited. One night over drinks at the Saboteur, Insecure asked Aware if she thought maybe this was all too much. If she had remained at the house that Doubt built with Ikedu Batir, what's the worst that could have happened? After all, with no expectations, she would never be disappointed, and this theory had worked for her to this point. Why fix what's not broken? It was then that Gotchu leaned in and whispered, sometimes taking a chance isn't worth the risk. She went on to say that she had been listening to the friends' conversations on the nights they stopped in. She was pleasantly entertained to see that Aware was having such an impact on Insecure and believed that this was something worth stopping in its tracks. They learned that she had been tending bar at the Saboteur long enough to know that change was not a general topic of conversation. Legend had it that there were 3 others that had spoken of change and made it out, that Logic, Apostole, and Larget had gone on to bigger and better. The whispers that had made it to the Saboteur spoke of a land past the Neva Neva that was ripe for the picking, that the cheese they had come to depend on was unnecessary, and that the trio came and went as they saw fit. Some say that there were sightings of Apostole. She simply appeared, spoke for a while, spreading wisdom as she knew how, and disappeared in the same fashion. Logic was known to help those less fortunate and was rumored to be responsible for a whole valley thriving by providing bits of cheese, leaving them in places where only those in need could find the bounty. As for Larget, it was said she was never seen in the area again because it no longer served her needs. But that was the stuff of fairy tales. The winds had brought other whispers, even more far-fetched and impossible to believe. There was the talk of one who asked more questions than her parents were able to answer, one who was unable or unwilling to accept the sacred tale at face value, and one who cared way too much. These 3 had yet to return. Only time would tell if these rumors were true. Most were afraid of what would happen if they lost sight of the lives they already had established for themselves. It was safer to settle in and live the rinse and repeat lifestyle like so many had before them. You wouldn't fail if you just followed the plan and stuck to the teachings of the sacred tale. Gotcha suggested that they start small, something close so she could keep their secrets in case of failure. She mentioned delusional towers. Although it cost only a little cheese, most hesitated to venture there due to the stigma associated with daring to believe they deserved better. It would be a great start or end for the pair. Over the next few weeks, the ladies continued to meet at the Saboteur and began to search in earnest for ways to obtain more cheese to sustain the move they were attempting to make. They began to believe that this might actually happen. They realized they had a say in how their story would unfold, that the future wasn't something they just had to accept. Together, they found an empty unit in the towers, left behind after a tough season when cheese became scarce and surviving meant stepping outside of the comfort of routine. The ones who lived there before couldn't keep up, but for these 2, it was a chance to begin again. All right, so that is the end of chapter 2 and the end of our reading for today. Huh? Oh, okay. All right. Yay. I see that there are more people here than they were at the beginning. So what I want to do for the tribe, and I know this will be repetitive for the people who heard it already, but I think there was only 2 people in here then. So I'm going to go ahead and read the dedication for the tribe again, because most of my tribe is here. Some of them are not. But for those that are, I'm going to read this out for you. And for those who buy the book, make sure you pay attention to the dedication. All right. So for my tribe, and the best me they have inspired. A tribe isn't just blood, it's breath. It's the people who see you clearly, even when you're clouded, who hold your truth gently, challenge your shadows fiercely, and stay rooted beside you when the winds of change try to carry you away. A tribe is the circle that catches you when you fall and then dares you to fly. This is for mine, for the ones I was born to, for the ones born through me, and for the wild, wonderful souls I picked up along the way, mid-maze, mid-meltdown, mid-miracle. You made me better just by being yourselves. You reminded me that wholeness isn't found in perfection, it's found in presence. Because of you, I kept going, I kept writing, I kept healing. You are my teachers, my mirrors, my safe place. You are the reason I believe in chosen family and sacred chaos. This book, this journey is stitched with your laughter, your patience, your faith in me when I had none. You didn't just inspire the best me, you insisted on her. So I offer this with full heart and steady hands, a dedication to the tribe that made me, saved me, and called me home. May we always be a village. May we always speak the same soul language. And may we never forget. How did I read that wrong? And may we never forget we were born into peace. All right. So that's my dedication. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who's here. And again, this is the character guided workbook, which is the second part of this. So I'm just going to kind of go through some of the things in this journaling book that you can use. So we'll talk about some of the stuff that happens in here, and I'm going to read the introduction and some of the discussion questions. These are the ones that are found at the end of the book. So how to use this workbook. Welcome to the expanded edition of the What Cheese Character Guided Workbook. This tool is designed to immerse you in the world of the maze and its unforgettable characters, each serving as a guide on your personal journey of self-discovery, motivation, and growth. You'll find character-driven reflections, exercises, and journaling prompts that encourage you to confront fears, discover truths, and chart new paths towards purpose and peace. Think of this workbook as a conversation with the characters themselves, listening to their wisdom, learning from their struggles, and applying their lessons to your own life. For each character, you'll encounter an opening quote or monologue in the character's voice, a teaching reflection, mini lesson, exercises and worksheets with writing space, guided questions, journaling pages, and an action step challenge. Before you go on, yes? Oh, hey, Jaden. Hello. All right. And so this is, I would have you answer the following questions, but what I'm going to do first is I want to read to you the places that we've been in the book, because that is a big part of this and the discussion. Did I not have the discussion questions in here? These are the discussion questions. Let me just make sure. Okay. So yeah. So the first question on here is, how did you feel traveling the places we've been? And so some of those places are the Saboteur. We haven't got to the bridge yet, or the clearing, the house that doubt built. So we'll talk about Anxiety Acres, complacency courts. So we'll go through all of those things, and all of those, and the names. The names are different emotions, different things that we feel. And the names for the places that we go are also have hidden meanings. And so one of the questions in the book is, what do those places look like to you? What is your anxiety acres? When is the last time you stood in your own way? Because that happens. That's why the girls didn't get out of the maze any earlier. What did you dream of becoming before life got in the way? That's a really good one. And, I'm just going to bring this up because me and my sister, Doc Richards, were supposed to run a mortuary. That didn't happen. She got married. Anyway, but we're getting back to that. So full circle, I have an announcement that I'll make here soon about Marquee Memories. Memory Marquee. I keep getting the name backwards. It's my own name, the business I came up with. Anyway, we'll get to that. And so we'll talk about that down the road a little bit. All right. So fear often stops us in our tracks. If you were unafraid, what would you try? If you were given months to live, what would you change? So there's some things in there too. What would you continue? Would you continue with or at the same job? And what would the best day of your life consist of? What would that look like if you were having the best day of your life? Frank's best day of his life, his 7th birthday, my English bulldog. Oh my God, it was a full day. He met a police officer. He went to his favorite shop in Lake Las Vegas, and the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory, and got yogurt covered pretzels, and he listened to music. He wandered around. He met people in the rental office. He had the best day ever. And then he ended up stopping in the district for ice cream at Ben & Jerry's, like he did every year. And then he came by Tisha's job and got additional treats too. So that was the best day ever. If money wasn't an issue, what would you do? Okay. What's on your bucket list? What causes you the most pain? And what tools do you have at your disposal? sometimes you don't think about the tools you have at your disposal. You have to be reminded. Shout out to the Rocky Mountain. Okay. Oh, he came by your job too, and I forgot. Okay, I love it. I love it. All right. And so what we'll do next week, this is just, those will give you some questions to think about, some ideas that you can kind of play around with. And remember, commercial for the books. It's what cheese and one of my friends. I'm going to share Carlos stuff next week. But one of my friends bought the character guided workbook first. And she was like, wait, this isn't a book. Doesn't have anything in here but questions. So make sure the book is actually What Cheese for those to whom motivation remains elusive. That is the book on Amazon and Lulu. And then the accompanying to that is the accompanying. What is that from? Brother, where art thou? Accompanist. So the book that goes with it is the character guided workbook. All right. So you want to get both of them so you can go through the full journey. All right. And so with that, remember to tune in to us next week. Actually, I'm sorry. Don't let me skip forward past tomorrow. Thursday's podcast at 6:00 is going to be a wonderful podcast about the 7 mistakes that you can avoid when you get angry, how to make sure that you avoid these in their entirety. And then next Wednesday, the 19th, we will be having a live masterclass on YouTube. So please come and join us. And by the way, come to our lives. Look at our playlist. We've got some stuff on the podcast. I know when I started, it was really shaky, but we've gotten better over time. Our new digs in the studio. And if you guys want to go deeper into this with me, and if you're interested in any of the programs, you can go directly to our website, which is parknv.com, and book or actually click the link. We're on YouTube live. So click the link in my bio, fill out your information, and we'll get you booked for a consultation call or get you started with one of the programs. All right. So until next time. Oh, yes. Wait a minute. Okay. So my Bitterman, James Henderson, my nephew, turned 21 years old on Sunday, November 9th. Oh my God. Okay. And let me just tell you that we call him Bitterman because when he was just a baby, I think he was 6 months, or is he older than that? He might have been 9 months. I wore a purple head wrap. I put a little do-rag on my hair because I was trying to keep it straight. And oh my goodness, he turned into the most little bitter man that I had ever met. He didn't want nothing to do with me when I had that purple wrap on my head. And even after I took it off, he didn't want anything to do with me that whole weekend. And he is now a grown man at 21. Crazy. Happy birthday, James. Yay. You're a real full, actual adult. I love it. Happy birthday. I can't wait to see you soon. And then, I have to give a shout out for my youngest daughter who's getting married on Saturday. So I want to share that too. Congratulations, Aria and Eric. And she's also pregnant. So put that out there too. I'm going to be a grandma again. Yay, the 5th one. Woo! Okay. All right. So I will see y'all on the other side. Remember, find me where you go. Click the link. Stay in the know. I'll see you guys next week. All right. Are we off?